Welcome to the world of werewolves. Subscribe now. The Lunar Tide Paradox, the Epic of Symbiotes. Volume 1, The First Blood, Tainted Tide, the Liachen of the Gears. Chapter 1, The First Glint of Wolf Eyes, the Birthday Curse of the Rusty Gears. The neon lights of the London quantum slum shattered into spots of light in the torrential rain. Kylan Black crouched behind the metal pipes of the abandoned subway station, her fingertips caressing the gear patterns on the edge of the pocket watch. The moonlight leaking through the glass dome spread like quicksilver, frosting on the gear-shaped birthmark in her palm. On May 19, 2025, this night, marked by the Silver Cross as the Abnormal Quantum Fluctuation Day, was counting down to her 21st birthday with the rustling sound of rusty gears. The pocket watch pendant burned beneath her collarbone. It was the only relic left to her by her mother, Ava. Faint letters A-B were engraved on the inner side of the watch face. Between the gear crevices, there were still a few strands of blonde hair frozen into ice crystals, fragments of memories from the Arctic ice sea. Every touch would trigger a quantum resonance under her skin. Kylan counted the moonlight leaking through the cracks in the dome. When the 12th silver beam landed on the birthmark, the gear-shaped skin pattern suddenly glowed with blue light, as if a sleeping machine had been suddenly infused with electricity. Stuck again. She blew on the pocket watch, and the white mist blurred the patina on the watch face. This antique watch from the 19th century was her only connection to the past. The sound of the gears turning had a 0.1 second delay with her heartbeat, as if it were the rumble of another heart. When the minute hand passed midnight, the rusty gears suddenly made a dying, like friction sound, and a quantum after image of her mother appeared in the center of the watch face. It was the last image of Ava before she was executed by Serena, her lips moving but no sound coming out. Suddenly, Kylan felt a tearing pain in her fingernails. Light, blue wolf claws emerged from the pulp of her fingers, yet the spiral patterns of human fingerprints remained at the fingertips. This was the most dangerous characteristic of a symbiote. The gene Lighthouse of the Silver Cross locked onto targets precisely through the resonance frequency of fingerprints in werewolf spirit DNA. She stumbled and leaned against the wall, and the concrete shattered into powder under the wolf claws, revealing the remains of a quantum server embedded in the wall. The gear-shaped circuit board echoed her birthmark in a strange way. Warning: abnormal gene resonance detected. Zensu.club. A swarm of nanobots poured in from the ventilation duct, and silver particles formed a gear totem on the ground. Kylan took a half step back, her lower back pressing against the rusty vending machine. The glass reflected her semi-transparent wolf, shaped after image, a side effect of space-time resonance, like the double image of an old videotape. Each after-image was revealing her quantum coordinates. The pocket watch gears suddenly rotated in reverse, and the blue light seeping from the cracks in the watch face flickered in sync with the birthmark, projecting a vague outline of the Arctic ice sculpture on the ground. The backlash of memory materialization came without warning. The bonfire of her mother's death blazed on her retina. Kylan saw herself at 18, huddled in the basement of a foster family. When the pocket watch gears got stuck for the first time, Ava's voice seeped out from the rust. Moonlight is the key to the werewolf spirit, and sunlight is the shackle of humanity. At this moment, orange-red flames burst out from her palm, burning the metal tentacles of the nanobugs. The fragments formed a holographic projection of Ava in the air. The ice crystals on the tips of her hair fell onto Kylan's hand, turning into a string of binary codes. Damn it, dot. She bit the tip of her tongue, and the taste of blood activated some kind of instinct. The moment the wolf claws swung, the air hummed like the turning of gears. The concrete wall cracked with spider web-like quantum patterns, revealing the hidden Lunar Tide network terminal inside the wall. The screen flickered with countless anonymous accounts, and the avatars were all combinations of dynamic wolf shadows and gear cracks. The latest message came from Blood Moon Watcher. The Silver Cross airship has arrived over the East End. When a new coordinate popped up automatically on Sarah Carter's blog, she was sorting through old photos in the basement of Notre Dame de Paris. The lens of the Leica camera, which had been burned by werewolf spirit energy, suddenly auto-focused and projected a real-time image of the London subway on the screen. a silver-haired girl turned on the platform. The gear-shaped spots of light in her Volf eyes swept across the surveillance camera, and the birthmark in her palm resonated with the storage box numbered 0428. That string of numbers was like an icicle stabbing into her temple. Matilda's work, permit number, her mother's death anniversary, and the heartbeat frequency of the Arctic ice sculpture. Double quotes 0428 ... double quotes. Sarah muttered to herself, her fingertips sliding across the old photo jia in the leather notebook. On the night of the Notre Dame fire in 2016, the camera lens captured two blurred figures: Serena Nightshadow's Wolf-shaped outline and Ava Black's human silhouette. Behind them, the fragments of the rose window glass were forming a gear pattern in the air. Suddenly, the computer screen went blue. After restarting, an encrypted video appeared on the desktop. In the video, Dr. Lucas was adjusting a Petri dish, and a gear-shaped birthmark identical to Kellen's was floating inside. Deep in the quantum slum, Kellen fell into a pile of discarded holographic advertising debris. On the broken screen, a Silver Cross counselor was preaching the amendment to the Supernatural Creature Registration Act. The gear-shaped silver ornament on his chest formed a glaring contrast to Kellen's birthmark. The Wolf claws unconsciously dug into the metal bracket, and the tooth-shaped scratches perfectly matched the quantum formula in her mother's diary, that blood-stained notebook with a drawing of a baby with a gear-shaped birthmark on the last page. You shouldn't exist. A killer emerged from the shadows wearing a black rose pendant. The silver chain around his neck was engraved with the Wolf Claw totem of the Blood Moon clan. His pupils were lead gray, belonging to a member of the Shadow clan who had long-term exposure to quantum smoke. Faint patterns of smoke flowing could be seen under his skin. The gray-white city doesn't need cracks. Kellen's back pressed against the cold track wall, the smell of rust mixed with the absinthe on the other person. She thought of the old dog in the foster family, the Labrador that always whined on full moon nights. Its name dissipated the moment the shadow shifting ability was triggered, the price of memory sacrifice, the first important thing she was forced to forget. As the world faded to gray-white, she saw black smoke coiling around the killer, and each wisp of smoke was a memory fragment he had sacrificed. The memory palace of a shadow shifter. As the killer approached, the smoke condensed into the form of a raven. I still remember your mother's screams clearly. These words were like a silver dagger stabbing into her heart. Kellen's Wolf eyes contracted violently, and the gear-shaped spots of light in her eyes showed the blizzard in Iceland in 2015. Serena's silver finger cots pierced through Ava's chest. The black rose pendant rolled to the ground, and blood drew a gear shape in the snow. The pocket watch gears suddenly let out a shrill scream, and the blue light seeping from the cracks turned into chains, binding the killer to the rusty track signal. Do you know why Serena left me alive? Her voice trembled like a Wolf's howl. When the Wolf claws rose, blue-white quantum energy seeped from between her fingernails. Because with these eyes of mine, I can see the cracks in the time anchors. The killer's pupils shrank suddenly, and a tinge of blood appeared in the lead, gray. Only then did Kellen notice a gear-shaped implant behind his ear, with the same frequency as the nanobots of the Silver Cross Gene Lighthouse. Memory materialization was triggered again. Her mother's bonfire condensed into a solid form in her palm. The flames licked at the killer's smoke form, revealing the cold glint of a mechanical eye underneath. He was a spy planted by the Silver Cross in the Shadow Clan. Tell Lucas that roses will grow from the cracks in the gears. Kellen tore off the killer's black rose pendant. Inside the pendant was engraved the abbreviation NN, corresponding to Serena's silver finger cots. When the nano silver bullets whistled overhead, she grabbed the pocket watch and smashed it into the quantum fissure on the wall. The gear powder drew a map of the North Star in the air, and the wolf, shaped after image and the human body overlapped in the dust of light. At the altar under the Arctic ice sea, Serena's ice sculpture opened its eyes. The quantum codes in its Wolf eyes were projected onto the London subway. Kellen saw 3 overlapping timelines: the black mist in which Serena awakened the Werewolf King in 2012, the aurora when she made her first Triune in 2024, and the wreckage of the symbiote starship in 2030. The pocket watch gears suddenly resonated like a bell, and the birthmark perfectly coincided with the pattern in the palm of the ice sculpture. Kellen, Sarah's voice came from the anonymous channel of the Lunar Tide network with a current hiss. Go to coordinate 0428. There's something of your mother's. The moment the nano-silver bullet penetrated her shoulder blade, Kylan saw her blood drip onto the pocket watch glass, and the rust spread at a visible speed. She stumbled into the storage box area, and the door of the box numbered 0428 automatically popped open. Half of Black Rose lipstick fell out. The smell of Ava's laboratory rushed towards her, mixed with the smell of gunpowder and snowmelt. A string of quantum coordinates was engraved on the inner side of the lipstick tube, the same as the codes on her retina every time she tried it. When the Silver Cross soldiers broke through the last door, there were only broken pocket, watch gears, and fresh blood left in the tunnel. The surveillance video showed a Wolf-shaped silhouette tearing open a quantum fissure, and moonlight formed the complete Black Rose totem behind it. Inside the Arctic ice sculpture, Ava's quantum afterimage was inserting a gear into the time anchor. The gear pattern was exactly the same as the birthmark in Kylan's palm, and thorny vines grew from the crevices, heralding the first flower of the symbiotic era. Sarah wrote a new title on her blog, Chronicles of the Lunar Tide, The First Blood, Tainted Tide. In the uploaded photo, a previously unseen graffiti suddenly appeared on the wall of the London subway. A black rose blooming from a gear crack, with 2 lines of overlapping letters winding around the flower stem, A, B, and NN. The moment the photo was developed, the birthmarks of all symbiote babies glowed simultaneously, forming a cross-dimensional resonance with the Arctic blood moon. The rustling sound of the pocket watch gears finally synchronized with the heartbeat of the universe. This episode ends, but the story continues. Subscribe now.